I was in my 20s. It never even crossed my mind. I had plans to leave and head to Hawaii, where I proposed to my girlfriend, and she said yes. On the return, I was going in for an injection into a knee for the gout symptom, and the radiologist pulled me aside. They put up the CAT scan on the screen and they said, this is what a cross-section of your body looks like. What it showed was a tumor that extended from my lower back all the way to my abdominal wall. It was devastating. I remember being escorted out a side door of the facility and being in the parking lot alone and thinking, I have this tumor in my abdomen and I don't know if I'm going to survive. From there, it was sort of a whirlwind. I ended up with CAT scan guided biopsies. The results that we received after that were encouraging, but that still left my chances below 50-50. To the credit of the doctors here, they had to step up in a way, coordinating both the surgical approach and the chemotherapy regimen to go after the type of cancer it was. I needed an exponential drop in my tumor marker numbers after the first round of chemo. The doctor came in and said, well, your tumor marker for one particular tumor marker went from 116,000 down to 16,000. And it was the first encouraging news that we had had in what at that point had been a month and a half. So the tumor markers continued to fall through the balance of the chemotherapy. And then the real tricky part were the surgeons, and it was a team that had to go in and now take out the tumor. It was 8 hours of surgery, large abdominal incision. They call it a lymph node dissection. But they were able to either replace things that needed to be replaced or repair and extract the remnants of the tumor. And then I went through a follow-up period that lasted 10 years after that to make sure that there was no recurrence, and there wasn't. I always described having a cancer diagnosis as being strapped in for the roller coaster ride, and you don't have a choice once that happens. You're going for the ride. And so off I went. I got married a year after the treatment was over and the surgery was successful. We had 2 children, and it was 10 years, almost to the month later, that on a visit with my primary care physician, he suspected that I had a different type of cancer and that it appeared to be testicular cancer, but they couldn't tell at that point to what extent, if there were any metastasis. It was the most difficult emotional struggle that I've endured through both cancers. And we started trying to investigate the best treatment options for somebody who went through the first cancer I had and all the chemotherapies that were involved with that. And I thank God that the treatment went as well as it did. It was a relatively short period of time for treatment and surgery compared with the first cancer, which was roughly about 13 months. Doctors were aggressive in treatment, had the surgery, went through the chemotherapy, which was just 2 rounds, and then the follow-up after that was a routine 6-month follow-up, and again, CAT scans every 6 months. I've had somewhere near 120 CAT scans in my career as a cancer patient. Every second counts. Try to make every day matter. Try to make a difference in other people's lives. And that's been a big motivator for me with the UMass Cancer Walk, to want to do what we can while we can to try to make a difference and move the ball forward to advance the survival rates for the cancers that still have high mortality rates today. I know that when I've had folks I've encountered, clients or family or friends who have received a diagnosis, my instant gut need is to hug them, to say, I get it, I know there's going to be hell ahead, but I made it, you can make it.